What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. We have made it. It is the final game of Super Wildcard Weekend. We've got Monday Night Football, and honestly, the scriptwriters couldn't have drafted a better narrative for this one. We have the Houston Texans traveling to face the Pittsburgh Steelers. You've got the young gun CJ Stroud going up against the savvy veteran, Aaron Rodgers, in a playoff atmosphere at Acrisure Stadium. The Steelers are 3-point home dogs, and the over-under is sitting at a gritty 38.5. Now, if you play daily fantasy, you know a 38.5 total usually screams stay away or defensive struggle. But in the playoffs, on a single-game showdown slate, these are the games where millionaires are made. You have to get different. You can't just jam in the obvious guys and hope for the best. Today, we are breaking down the optimal DFS strategy for this matchup on DraftKings and FanDuel. We're going to look at the studs, the fades, and the value sleepers. And to do that, we are leaning on the data from SportsLine's premier DFS expert, Mike McClure. If you don't know Mike, the guy has over $2 million in career winnings, he's taken down the Millionaire Maker multiple times, and his simulation model is literally simulating every snap of this game to find the edge. So, let's dive into the slate. First, let's talk game script, because that dictates everything in DFS. The public is going to be heavy on the big names. You're going to see a ton of lineups with CJ Stroud stacked with Nico Collins. And on the other side, people forcing Aaron Rodgers and DK Metcalf into their lineups. And look, I get it. Rodgers and Metcalf have that star power, but the simulation model is seeing something interesting here. The Steelers' defense ranks 29th against the pass this season. They have been getting absolutely shredded through the air. That naturally funnels volume to the Texans' passing attack. However, the total is low. So while Stroud is a great play, we have to be careful about how we afford him. If you spend up for both quarterbacks, you have zero salary left for the flex spots. The real key to this slate isn't necessarily the quarterbacks, it's the running backs. Both teams are using committee approaches. You've got Nick Chubb now in Houston, and you've got a crowded room in Pittsburgh with Jaylen Warren and Kenneth Gainwell. The casual player looks at a committee backfield and gets scared. They avoid it. The sharp player looks at a committee backfield and says, "Where is the leverage?" We're going to find that leverage today, specifically with a Steelers back that nobody is talking about enough. Let's start with the Texans. If you are building a lineup tonight, Mike McClure has identified one absolute lock. You need to be looking at Nico Collins. Nico has evolved into one of the most consistent wide receivers in the entire NFL. Let's look at the numbers because they are wild. He ranks 8th in the NFL with 74.5 receiving yards per game. But it's the consistency that matters for cash games and building a safe floor. He has posted at least 57 receiving yards in 9 straight games. In that stretch, he's got 4 touchdowns and 3 100-yard games. He is CJ Stroud's safety blanket. Now, match that up against this Pittsburgh secondary. As we mentioned, the Steelers are ranked 29th against the pass. They give up a ton of receptions to perimeter wideouts. They just haven't been able to stop the bleeding on the outside. So you have a high-volume receiver, a high-ceiling quarterback, and a defense that can't stop the pass. This is what we call a smash spot. McClure's model loves Collins here. In fact, the model isn't just using him in DFS, there's a prop angle here too. If you're betting on DraftKings Sportsbook, look at Nico Collins over 69.5 receiving yards. The math says he clears this easily. Do not overthink this one. Get Nico in your lineup. Okay, now let's talk about where you win the tournament. The running backs. Everyone knows Nick Chubb has a history of crushing Pittsburgh, and everyone knows Jaylen Warren has been hot lately, averaging over 100 scrimmage yards in his last 3 games. The public is going to flock to those two guys, but Mike McClure is pivoting. He is rostering Steelers running back Kenneth Gainwell. I know. Kenneth Gainwell in a playoff game? Hear me out. Since Week 11, Gainwell has quietly been the RB10 in fantasy. He's averaging 85 scrimmage yards per game in that stretch with 5 total touchdowns. But here's the specific reason why he is the play on DraftKings, which is full-point PPR. Gainwell leads Pittsburgh with 73 receptions. He is the pass-catching back for Aaron Rodgers. Rodgers trusts him. Now look at the matchup. The Texans have an elite run defense, but they struggle with backs in the passing game. Over the last 4 games, Houston has allowed over 42 receiving yards per game and a touchdown to opposing running backs. Rodgers is smart. He's not going to bang his head against the wall trying to run up the middle against Houston's front. He's going to dump it off. He's going to use the short game. That creates massive volume for Gainwell. If you roster Gainwell while your opponents roster Warren and the game script goes pass-heavy, you are gaining massive leverage on the field. Also, take a look at his prop on DraftKings, over 4.5 receptions. That feels like free money given the game script. So, to recap the core strategy for Monday Night Football, we are attacking the weak Steelers secondary with Nico Collins. We are fading the traditional ground game to grab the PPR value with Kenneth Gainwell. We are anticipating a game script where Rodgers has to throw short to move the chains. But here's the thing. DFS isn't one with just 2 players. You need the full roster. You need to know which defense to play. You need to know if you should roster a kicker in a low-scoring game. McClure has one more undervalued player that he believes is going to explode on Monday night. This is a guy who could be the difference between min-cashing and taking down a GPP tournament. I can't give that name away here out of respect for the SportsLine members, but the data on this specific player is screaming breakout. If you want to see that mystery pick, plus Mike's full optimal lineups for FanDuel and DraftKings, you need to head over to SportsLine right now. We've dropped the link in the description below. Mike's model has been on fire. He tied for first in the DraftKings Millionaire Maker twice in 2023 and hit the FanDuel Million once. The guy knows what he is doing. Don't go into the last game of wildcard weekend guessing. Go get the optimal lineup, lock it in, and let's cash some tickets tonight. If you enjoyed this breakdown, do me a huge favor. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel for more DFS advice throughout the playoffs, and let me know in the comments. Who is your MVP for this game, Stroud or Rodgers? Thanks for watching, good luck with your lineups, and enjoy Monday Night Football.